And of course, we've already really gone over once again how important this is and how it could influence some things here in the standings. So it's both teams definitely looking for some victories here amongst just wanting to compete, of course. I'm joined by Snooey once again as my co-caster here. So looking forward to this one now coming at us.
Yep.
Now, we do notice
Should be a
off
good
the
one.
bat, Fresh is using a ringer.
But so they have been for the last cycles, haven't they? More or less. Or
Uh,
who's their core fifth?
I'm Blake. Oh, yeah,
I
Denver Pro.
mean, yeah, but I think they were playing with Jugovic last cycle, if
They
I'm
were
not
because,
mistaken.
yeah, Denver Pro hasn't been able to be around. So, yeah, I guess they're playing. They would play Hugo Big not last cycle, last when they played on Thursday, actually.
All right.
When they
But
split the
then they
series. So,
won versus Sinks, which should be no problem.
yeah. So,
Yeah, just pointing it out, but I'm not entirely sure who that guy is, but it's obvious that he's got some experience playing with a team at least. Looking at his stats and all, it doesn't seem to be just anyone at least.
yeah. All right, well, we'll see what MJ95 is able to bring to the table here. But yeah, again, this
Nice.
should
Yeah.
be fun. All right, we got the draft here. Ophelia Sandwraith, Puppet Master Salomon band. So again, we see that Salomon being used as a band this time around. Andromeda into Warbeast into Midas coming out here.
Starting it off with an Andromeda, I wonder if that's because of Evil Corporation, the fact that they like to pick it up for near signature hero for him. I think they ran it in both games in the last series, Evil Corporation that is. So maybe they're just snatching it away from them at the same time as they are like, yeah, we don't want to reveal too much, let's just go for Andromeda. But usually it indicates that either you want to go for that hard carry, such as the Clanks, the ranged carry, or you want to go for something offensive, like an offensive trialing with Andromeda Corrupted Disciple, for example, to take advantage of that long stun duration that Andromeda provides in level 1. Then War Beast followed it up by Evil Corporation. I mean, that was played by Tankafet, if I'm not remember, or if I remember correctly, in their series early today, but it could still be Sane as well. So there's a lot of options for both teams, but general playstyles, like both of these teams like to bring aggressive team compositions to the table. So I do believe that we could expect a very offensive and action-filled game here from these two teams.
It's interesting you say that because honestly, it feels like for Evil Corporation, they have transitioned into much more of an aggressive team for sure. I feel like Fresh has kind of taken that role though, of almost being considered more of this now new idea of a passive team, the 4-1 strat. Probusc on carry, everyone else. They kind of make space for him if anything. So. I wonder what direction we are going to see this game. Now, we do see the Wild Soul coming out, and we
Yeah,
have
that's
seen
usually.
Probusc play it in the short lane. So,
Mm. Yeah, well, wilds will usually indicate that you're playing a little bit more passive, or at least you want core items before. As we saw in the previous series, though, like Tankafed, I mean, as soon as he got level 6 or level 7, he just went to post to the walls and just ran straight into the tier 1 towers of his enemies and just, wanted to get kills. So you can definitely play aggressive with this hero as well, even though the uh, normal case is to play it a little bit more passive until you get core items, a little bit more survivability. Probably depends on the bans here as well. Arachna so far signature hero of Imbaboy that Evil Corporation has had a lot of success with. Looking at the board, I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if they get rid of the Clanks here as well. Corrupted Disciple could be something potentially that they're looking to pick up. I would love to see Dr. Pulsar um, played by Evil Corporation more. Now when Complexity played it earlier today, I just got hyped for that hero once more. Just showing off the potential of the hero. It's so incredibly strong, especially with a hero like Nymphora. So much aggression and still being able to carry into the later stages of the game.
yeah, it's been kind of interesting to see the fall off of Doctor a little bit. I know himself maybe got a little bit of nerfs, and on top, people talk about the Grimoire change, obviously completely changed it. Personally,
Yeah, and
I
Icon.
feel like we never really saw Grimoire on Doctor in most cases, so I don't think that necessarily had a lot to do with it. But I know on top of that, even the icon, there was a slight nerf to it. So it's just kind of these things, all these minor things you could almost argue kind of added up to be like, okay, well, it's just not worth it as a hero. But we see more of the traditional hard carries instead, more of the passive ones, more of the get a lot of farm and then take over the game. It's kind of where we've shifted now, too. So. But yeah, I mean, it was fun seeing Doctor last game, and potential's still there, I think. So
Sure was. Is this going to be the silhouette game? From the side of Mint, I'm calling the silhouette for Probusk.
I don't know.
Little,
I feel like the last couple of times I picked up Wild Soul, honestly, Probosca's played it. So
all right. So you're more leaning towards the Wild Soul in the safe lane then? I guess
yeah,
that's how they play it.
yeah.
Okay, so that means that Midas is most likely in the suicide lane, and they are looking for a mid hero here for Slaske. Right clicking, Fade, Tundra, a little bit of different options right there. Tundra would probably do well. The slow is very effective versus the melee heroes on the Hellborn side. Warbeast doesn't care too much when he gets the Metamorphosis though. But it is going to provide him a lot of map vision. They're going to go with Fade instead, okay. Is this an offensive tri lane though? Andromeda Fade normally is not your typical go-to dual lane in the mid, and Fade is usually not on his own. You can run him as that option like solo mid, but you tend to like pair him up with another stunner to maximize his potential. So therefore, I'm leaning to maybe as you were saying, like have Wild Soul in the safe lane, Midas a solo mid, and then an offensive tri lane, for example. That's not something that a Evil Corporation can rule out here. At least they need to be
Yeah.
careful for that fact. They do already have a great setup for that though, for an offensive tri lane. Or to face it, I mean, Lodestone can easily just solo a lane. Warbeast can even play safe lane as well with the or with the Wolves. So
I mean, we do have to keep in mind again. This is where that having a ringer could come into play. Again, we don't really know anything about this MJ95 player. Is he a jungler? Is he comfortable playing the jungle? Do they have a player that's comfortable playing the jungle? Because if not, then that might kind of shift how they want to or how they have to draft here ultimately. Instead, so.
yeah, that's true.
Too.
It's a good point. I know that they have a few players that has the potential of playing the forced role, but once again, they probably don't want to swap roles up too much. Gonna go to Hellbringer instead. So following the trend from the previous series, worked out well for Only. Could have been a Riftwalker, but Hellbringer is a little bit stronger as an overall hero now, providing that lane presence really. Riftwalker needs to wind up his ultimate a little bit longer as well than Hellbringer, which is just an instant AoE stun.
Drunken Master being right-clicked.
Yeah, I don't see that as the option though, or as the best option. Or where would you run it in that case? In that case, it's a Wild Soul in the forest at least. But I think that they want something a little bit more ranged. Yeah, it's going to be okay. Valk. So it is the offensive tri lane, I think, with the Fade Andromeda Valk here.
Yeah,
I mean, it's looking like it at least. But Evil Corporation is smart. They know for a fact how to deal with this, so they're just gonna pick up or put a Lodestone in the safe lane. And seeing as they got their carry hero left, which is Imbaboy's hero, they can just transition into a dual mid or even run an offensive tri. No, wait, they can't run an offensive tri lane themselves with Warbeast on their team. Tricky one. Gonna go with Swiftblade. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's probably a good pick here for this game. We haven't seen it in a long time, and it's not necessarily strong versus the Wild Soul. Like, it can't go toe-to-toe with that hero in trading out attacks, but it's good at dodging the Valk arrows and the Fade and Andromeda ganks, at least.
All right, and they swap it up, and sure enough, yeah, Probusk's going to be on the Wild Soul there, so...
You're right on that part.
Blade end up at Immaboy. Yeah, again, just from recent history, when they haven't picked it up, they've just done that a couple times, so... It's the only team I would expect that on, that's for sure. But it has to be.
Yeah, it would be kind of hilarious if we saw Imbaboy on Wild Soul, right?
Yeah, that would not be an expected thing at all. But yeah, this one a little more. So the idea of the trialing is there. So we do see a pause to start, and we always talk about how I wouldn't be surprised if this is a bit of a strat pause here from ECX. Now that kind of going over the possible lanes and trying to figure out exactly how they want to lane this. It's not an obvious thing, I think is safe to say. So,
yeah, it's a bit tricky because, like, you're probably going to end up sending Lodestone into the safe lane, or are you? It's so damn tricky. Like, you can send Lodestone into the safe lane. You can have Hellbringer in the mid, but Warbeast, where's he going to go? Like, he needs to desperately be in his own forest, and I have a feeling that the Legion team is going to ward up all his camps, so he's not necessarily going to have that luxury. And therefore he would have to transition into the Legion forest, but Fade and Andromeda is just going to follow him around. Swiftblade, Glacius, offensive, works out well, but versus a Wild Soul, Glacius can't do too much. So Emo Boy might be able to secure around 300 gold per minute, and that's probably good enough at that point. And if Fade and Andromeda leaves the offensive tri-lane and leaves Valk 1v1 versus Lodestone, I think Zane should be able to do decently well. So it's all going to come down to the Valk arrows and how well Andromeda and Fade is going to be able to execute the rotations.
Yeah.
Fade or Midas needs level 4 in the mid before they can really set up too many kills with him. So they need to be careful for that timing. Hellbringer needs to be careful. As soon as Midas hits level 4, he knows for a fact that there is going to be a gank coming.
Okay.
Probably just going over ward placements and stuff like that right now. Like, where's the best place to place the defensive wards here from Evil Corporation sides. I know TPS Priceless, when he was the support player for Recent Gaming or Evil Corporation, he used to just buy a teleport.
Yep.
Straight from the start,
Yeah,
and
we see
port
that.
to the safe lane.
Actually, you mentioned that Bunny Lover is fairly known for doing that. I wonder,
Oh,
is he going to do that? He would have already started TPing by now, so he's not going to do it himself. But no, we've definitely seen him do it many of times for Mint here. So
yeah, it's a viable strat. It can be very useful and provide a lot of information that can help you adjust your lanes before, you know, the creeps arrive, and that can buy you a lot of valuable time. So sometimes giving or spending that extra 135 gold can be very, or can it be a good thing?
look at Glacius. Gets down there because of that as soon as possible, puts the water sight behind the tower, and now he's falling back to where he may end up. So you got Mint currently, though. They're sending all 5 to the top, and if anything, going to scout out themselves on what's going on. A Hellhound going to be used to see them incoming, so that'll be
Curious to see this, by the way, the Hellbringer is the one that's going to be running offensive with the Glacius. Or are they simply going to be dual laning the mid instead?
Are they going to suicide a Hellbringer?
That doesn't... Nah, they can't be. I think Near is just going to run over here and place a ward. But I don't think he should place it here on the hill. He's probably smart enough not to. Yeah, good placement from him. So it's not going to be countered, and it's probably going to be able to provide him with enough vision to at least allow Swiftblade in the mid to live another day.
Yeah, not put it in an obvious spot to get countered. He is heading back towards the bottom lane, so yeah, it would have been really odd to see a suicide Hellbringer. But not going to see that here, as it will be more of an aggressive dual lane instead.
Mint doesn't even have one in their safe lane yet. Like, Slasky is late to the party. They're swapping it up last second.
Oh, wow.
They are predicting that Evil Corporation is predicting what they are laning, so they are counter-predicting.
There's
It's
the
too
mind
bad that
games.
it's too bad Evil Corporation didn't go one step further. That would have been hilarious. But at least they're sending Swiftblade in the mid. That's not something that Mint expected, I'm sure. They probably expect the Hellbringer to be solo mid.
Oh, yeah. So he ends up bottom. Now, again, if you're Valkyrie, you're like, there's no way he's by himself.
Oh, by the way, they placed that, or Near placed that second ward behind the tier 1 tower down here at the bot lane.
Yeah, that's the one he got down right away, yeah.
So he's not going to have vision on Fade and Andromeda roaming around now, at least. As long as they stick to their own side.
Oh, all right. So ECX is already transitioning themselves. They were not comfortable seeing Valkyrie down there and essentially the tri-lane now, so they're going to send Hellbringer top, and now Lodestone is going to make his way to the bottom lane. So I think Mint kind of wins that early. Yes, they got to the lane a little bit late, but you could say that they win it because it's causing early TPs and a lot of movement early on.
Yes and no. They're probably winning it as of this moment, but it's going to come down to how well Fade and Andromeda is going to be able to find experience and kills as well. Because the Hellborn team, they got 4 cores, more or less, or they got a Forester, while Legion team got those 2 roamers. So they're going to fall behind after the laning phase. Therefore, they need to make a smaller, or gain a small advantage here at least, if they want to be able to keep themselves up to toe with Evil Corporation. Oh, top lane? Whoa, are they...
They're really going for this wild, so he's eating through the trees. He knows they're coming.
Smart, well played by Probus.
Yep.
Incredibly smart to go that way. And he's even last hitting? Are you kidding me? That's a little bit over the top, I feel.
Carry player at heart, man. He's going to still take a lot of pressure, though. But now Glacius falling to the tower. However, he gets out of tower range. Wildsoul still on the run. Not enough, though. Nice stun on a Lodestone. So Bloodlust kill in ECX's favor, but at least Andromeda is able to set up a turn kill.
But that's
The
still like
lodestone.
such a worthy kill because Probusk is missing out on so much experience from all those creeps dying. Actually, there's 4 archers here, so he still should be able to gain quite a bit of experience. Alright, it's not the worst case.
Look at the pressure on the tower too. Jeez, already down to that much life here.
Whoa,
That's
yeah,
early
good
on.
point. That last hit by Probusk, by the way, I'm not sure if that was intended or if he was controlling Boobo or something, but giving away his position by last hitting a creep in the tower range, that was greedy.
To get a little more farm even, but yeah, dying right there. And again, porting back over as mentioned, want to at least get a bit of that experience at the tower, so he ends up doing so. But now he's essentially kind of playing a suicide wild soul here. So Robust, you know, typically the hard carry obviously on Mint and the one that you expect to be getting the farm. Because of how the lanes have now adjusted and adapted to, he's not going to have the strongest start anymore. Whereas Valkyrie is going to instead now be kind of that early carry here.
Yeah, full trust in Slasky Dirt here. I'm sure that he can carry just as well as Probusk if he finds the farm to do so. Incredibly skilled player. Both him and different guy from Minter on the award nominees for best newcomer player. So lots of promise in this team. And definitely one of those possible candidates to making it to Thailand in Season 4. As long as they keep up the momentum here.
Yeah.
Fade and Andromeda once more, not finding those kills though. As you can see, yet another ward of revelation here placed by Sane, but that's enough at most cases to actually give or to provide enough vision for those rotations. That's an incredibly smart tips because you only got so many ward of sights. But if you use a ward of revelation in a narrow spot like that, I mean, you can still spot all the transitions.
Yeah, so early farm in Valkyrie, again, how is this going to work here for the Legion side? You get the upgraded boots and going from there. Curious to see also what his build decision is as far as items go. Again, one of these kind of heroes that not necessarily obvious build, but and I guess it also determines, you know, how he expects to play this game. So he is getting the early lane farm because of how it's worked out, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to expect him to, you know, be that hard carry in the end. You know, is he going to be more of the utility carry, something like in earlier on Null Fireblade, perhaps the early Energizer, you know, things like that. So we'll see what.
Yeah,
Slasky
there's a
goes
lot of
for.
things to take into consideration. Obviously, how offensive you want to play later on. Seeing as he is playing with a Fade and Andromeda, who likes to get a lot of map control, I wouldn't be too surprised if he picks up the Energizer here. Normally, if you skip out on the Energizer as well, going Ghost Watchers instead of Steam Boots could be a good idea. Simply because of that extra momentum, and they don't necessarily have too many burst heroes on the Hellborn side either. But him going for Steam Boots here is probably indicating that he's going for fast Energizer.
Okay.
You can go for the Nullfire as well afterwards to follow it up, just because of the Malphas.
Yep. Oh yeah, this is definitely a no fire game for sure. So wouldn't be surprised if that had a little bit of input with that final pick.
Oh,
of the
Slasky actually
Valkyrie.
porting away. I'm not sure if he was spotted right there by the creeps, though that was close. I guess it doesn't.
Doesn't really matter
Yeah.
unless he's going to go for a kill up top here, which it doesn't look like he's going to necessarily be able to. So yeah, not a
Well,
big deal
just
in the end.
providing some vision or some farm, leaving the safe lane for the Fade instead of the bot.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Fade is, again, playing a second support,
Probusk
but
in
actually
trouble.
Probusk in a lot of trouble. They find him at the Ancients. They figure, you know, where is he? He's not top. He's not
Wow.
bottom. Are you kidding me? No, he is going to die.
No, Boo
They
Boo
kill
died. He can't
Boo
win
Boo.
this.
How about that? That's interesting. They kill Boo Boo, as you mentioned, because he actually can't go in piss. And it kills him in the end. Well played.
That's so cruel.
Yeah.
That was a heads-up play to Tankafet, though.
Absolutely,
Obviously, he knows Wild Soul very well, but yeah, still interesting. I didn't think of that. I thought he was fine, for sure.
No, I was with you. I'm like, oh, he's going to barely get away, but then all of a sudden, never mind. The heads up play was
Bot
real.
lane, by the way, is probably going to be a kill here on Fade. When he goes for this last... No, he had an opportunity there for that last hit. He's going to wait yet another. Maybe he's close to level 5. Yeah, okay, he just got
There
level
we go.
5.
Yeah, it's a rocket
played.
drill. Jeez, with a double damage. He probably could have done that at level 4, but guaranteeing the kill right there. And top lane, Valkyrie goes down. Malphas used, but a huge kill for ECX. Very worth it, definitely. So several big kills coming out for them, and all of a sudden taking a 4-1 lead here. And boost of gold and experience lead. And this is going to be a top tower kill, too, with it being so low from earlier on. That's going to really push ECX ahead now. So Mint's having
That's
to
a lot
adjust
of
here.
momentum, yeah. for our Hellborn team and look at the gold per minute chart, like nobody on the Legion team is even above 300 gold per minute, while the Hellborn team got free almost 4 heroes. Glacier is currently farming better than everyone on the Legion side.
Yeah.
And what the hell, Nier? Like, what's he even been like doing? I mean, in terms of farming, like he's only been
280.
roaming around. He's got a tower kill now as well, I guess. He got a kill on Slaskager, but yeah, he's just all over the place.
Yeah, he was the bloodlust kill on Probus initially too, so helps a
Still
little
really
bit.
impressive to maintain 300 gold per minute as a Glacius this early on, 800, or I mean at the 8-minute mark. Gonna cover the top rune now as well.
I'm not gonna lie, it's interesting with Nier. For the longest time, especially I consider him a friend and everything, a co-caster and stuff, a great guy. He never really screamed like a star support player though. He's kind of just almost in the background of the CCX and Reason Gaming team formerly, and even before that was a secondary support even. So, but he really has been stepped up big time this season, especially as taken over as that main support role, and been impressive to watch, impressive to see that progression. So, absolutely is easily a top support, nowadays, and good arguments can be made for the top.
Yeah, one of
ways,
the absolute best, if not the best, so to say. I'm on board. I mean, I'm on the same page. Like, I almost felt that way as well. I'm not entirely sure if that's because he hasn't necessarily been focusing, or if he just found a team that he's really comfortable with now.
Yeah.
Like, they synergize really well. Now, especially when Onmi is back on the roster once more, that a little bit more aggressive playstyle that we see from Nier, just rotating around all the time, creating space for Imboboy around the map. I think that fits his playstyle much better than it previously did with the old roster. But yeah, stepping up big time. It's fun to see him play.
How's Imboboy been looking here? 350 gold per minute. Yeah, he's been doing just fine. I've constantly been seeing him use that spin here quite a bit to get some farm, and
can't really complain sitting on 350 gold per minute from the mid lane.
Yeah.
On a Swift plane in a 1v1 situation. But here we go, Fade. I wonder.
Oh, there's the
Okay,
open. Here's a follow-up. Is this enough? Warbeast and Glacius running in. It is enough. Just barely enough, but it's enough in the end. Fade goes down in response, though. They want more. They're going to get at least a second one here on a drop, most likely. There we go. Malphus coming down as well. This could be more. Glacius full. No, that was minus, going down. Is the Hellbringer takes an arrow from Valkyrie. Wildso running back in right there. Okay, but as soon as that Shatterstorm appears, he's like, gotta get the hell out of here. So at least him and Valkyrie will live, but it's a 3-for-1. They killed Swiftblade, as we see. But now here comes the middle tower push. So Mid gets something there, but they're ultimately going to come out of the losing end of it and probably lose this tower. Unless it denies.
And this is a Legion team composition that we expected to win the early game as well, the laning phase. Like, they were so dependent on getting those early kills. Lots of experience on Fade and Andromeda is needed if they want to keep up their progression after the laning phase ends. And in terms of team fights, I don't see the Legion team doing too well in the future, so they still got a small window here to make it back, but they really need to utilize the Fade every single time he got his ultimate up, which is coming here in 20 seconds or so. But unless they get a lot of kills now, like, they don't have the luxury to wait for a Mock of Brilliance for Wildstorm, for example. Like, only 300 gold per minute at this point, and Swiftblade running in.
Oh, he's really going deep right here. He's going to run into a couple, actually, and the Swift Slash is not doing a whole lot, but it might still be enough for killing a Fade. Oh, he's just out of range, though, and now Swiftblade's regretting this decision.
Oh, yeah.
He does that backup, though? Not really. His brother's like, I'm here. Oh, never mind. Can't help you. And actually, now Zane is also going to fall, so... Well, that's cute for Mint. I mean, killing the carry as well as getting that suicide lodestone here.
Speaking about dependent on hero kills, and they just gained the 2 for free. That was risky business right there from Imboboy. Not used to seeing him doing this kind of Jolo plays. Usually he's the most consistent carry player there is, more or less, just always securing the farm.
Well, we kind of saw that in the last game as well. We happened to jump into with Pine. Obviously, he was playing that puppet, and he was go, go, go in that game, too, playing the aggressive trial lane.
True.
So maybe it's just his mentality today. He's feeling really good as far as being aggressive here and wants to keep that momentum up. But, yeah, that was a little greedy, especially when there's still so much game left. I mean, it is too early on to feel like you're having a dominating pace going on here. So, if anything, made the play, didn't work out in the end. Life moves on here. They're going to go over to the triple stack Ancients, meanwhile. And look to clear
Yeah,
those out.
this should be juicy for Swiftblade. Going for the Energizer build, by the way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily transitioning too much into a late game carry in that case. They got a War Beast to fall back on as well. He can tackle part of that burden to carry them, but not sure if I agree with the Energizer in this build. Normally, I'm a big fan of just playing offensively as much as possible, but I don't know if they're going to necessarily be able to put too much pressure on the Legion team. Like, they don't have anyone to be in front and tank the towers. Like, they don't have the creeps, like they don't have the Ophelia extra heal, for example, or the Rhapsody dance floor, anything like that. No Abyssal Skull either on Swiftblade is not necessarily going to be able to allow him to farm too fast.
Oh, bottom. Lodestone. Could be setting up. No, he's realized that's just too much there. I gotta say, Probusk being level 12, felt that. I mean, we're just getting completely locked down in the beginning of the game, it felt like. Having such a struggle.
Like, he was at 300 gold per minute, as we were talking about. Like, they don't have the luxury to farm Mark of Brilliance. Then voila, they get 2 free kills, and he's get left alone for about 2 minutes, and he skyrocketed up an additional 130 gold per minute in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Wait, you're thinking he's gonna get a mock?
Yeah.
Wild Soul?
I would assume so. Or what do you think?
Well, mock, I don't think we've seen a whole lot of mock, to be honest. Lately, as Swiftblade, yeah, no, he goes down middle lane. That's a huge kill again. How about that? Midas and Andromeda, I guess Fade a big part of that too. All coming together for a kill. So, and actually, they're going to go back in. Hellbringer is going to get die once again. So, nice couple of kills coming out more so for there. For
Talk about momentum swings there.
Yeah, and they all of a sudden definitely in the lead here. In fact, we see an item coming to Wild, so it is going to be the Firebrand. That's what I was going to say. It seems like we've been seeing... Now, I'm with you. I'm a little surprised, and especially playing in the short lane, or not. Obviously, it wasn't this game necessarily, but being the carry, the main carry, you could argue Mock with the changes and everything would actually be pretty powerful. But we have seen more of this style of build, kind of like your typical ranged carry build, instead with the Firebrand, eventual Geometer's Bane, get a Frostal Skull, things like that. So...
Yeah, I mean, this is totally fine as well. Whatever he feels fit. I mean, it's a personal choice as well. I think he had the gold, or I mean, he would have had it in the near future here. He would have been 1.3k away. Glacius, by the way, playing very aggressively with that invest. 25 seconds left. Not entirely sure if he's hoping to achieve anything. Waiting for a team backup at least, safe to say.
Well, I think if anything, he's just being a moving ward right here, because they're pushing bottom. He's basically making a point of where at least a couple of heroes are.
They want to get a kill, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, if he's running this way, then yeah, they could definitely get a kill.
Evil Corporation still playing relatively passive, not too interested in moving over.
All of a sudden, Glacius appears, and he's actually dropping. Look at that. He is going to be fine, but a lot of damage right there before actually getting out of range. All right. Look at the bottom tower. He's spinning. Swiftblade's spinning, actually. So the Legion team wants to make a play now. Valkyrie Prism coming out. Going to go for the jump on the Swiftblade. He's able to dodge the transmute, though. Here comes the counter. That's going to be a big Shatterstorm. Hits Midas actually dodged it right there. Wow. The Elemental Warp was the same frame. And he actually got it off. That looks so weird.
Never seen that one before. It must have been the Eisen Prison. Or, no, it can't have been. Glacius wasn't nearby.
I don't know what it was. Yeah, that just looked weird. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Now, in the end, they still get 2 kills, of course, and actually they're going to push the tower now, so it's still actually going to be a big fight of victory for ECX here. Just that 1 kill being missed. A little unfortunate for them. Midas, oh wow, he's going back in big. 2-man stun right there. Gets 1 kill on a Glacius. However, he can't get the second, and he falls, so a great attempt, but not worth it in the end. They are going to fight back here. Was there any buybacks? No, that was just rezzing.
Yeah, Nier so disappointed with that. It's always that feeling when someone just jumps in and trades their life for support, and you're just like, come on, man, really?
Yeah.
Did you have to? But that was a great attempt, though, from a different guy. His one opportunity, he was really close to scoring 2 kills, so can't really blame him for going in there.
Yeah, so bottom tower kill, though, still, they got the tower kill, right? Yeah, they definitely got the tower kill.
Yeah, they did. Sasuke did go for that Energizer, by the way, and he is following it up with the Nullfire, so we were correct on that part, at least.
Okay.
It's going to be... Wait, Probusk, what is he building into Boo Boo in that case? Is it Icebrand now as well?
See, I don't know. From here, I think it's kind of just up to the player, definitely. A Shrunk in this game, I figure, would be pretty good, as it is in a lot of games, but could be the Icebrand and the Frostal Skull. I know that's considered a very powerful item on Wild Soul especially, so if I had to guess personally, I would probably think more the Shrunken, but...
Yeah, since it's Pro Busk, we're just gonna have to say Icebrand. He
right.
always goes that, you know. Every single time on Clanks. He's the only Clanks player that goes for the Icebrand.
Yeah. Likes right there. Yeah, he does tend to be a little more of the traditional, like a lot of build-up kind of carry. He has that history, of course, and somewhat defensive even, too. But, yeah, right here, again, I've had to guess maybe the Shrunken. But, yeah, one of the two. Whatever he does go for, obviously, could be big. Okay, you're right there in the Icebrand. And we are going to see an eventual Frost of Skull. So, we'll get the Frostburn
I have to
here.
say that I'm a bit surprised that they're still even in, or almost even in gold, and even in experience, even though Evil Corporation definitely had more momentum now lately and pushed a lot more towers than their opponents. Legion team still sticking in there. Now, Wild Soul is a great late game carry to the... Oh. Hellbringer. With the portal key again, wow.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up because actually Orbis is fine. Again, we mentioned that against Pine. Now, they were just overwhelming them, and I was kind of wondering if that had a little bit to do with it too, but he goes with this game as well. So that's a little, and that on top of Ghost Marchers, like, he's a very aggressive Hellbringer here.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like the hero benefits from the portal key. Unless you desperately need to get into range for, like, canceling a Tempest ultimate or anything like that. I feel like he should be, in most team fights at least, he should be in position to have enough range for that Malphas anyways.
Yeah, I think the portal key, it definitely isn't as efficient as other items could have been. I agree there. But he has it here, again, looking to be aggressive, as we saw there going into the jungle somewhat blindly, and that ended up, well, backfiring on him, of course, so... Nice.
I know that Sibbe likes to go for the fast Restoration Stone, just steam boots into Restoration Stone, I think it's first item more or less. But only definitely choosing an entirely different direction here. Did the Legion team spot this, by the way? They did, right?
They have the Word of Sight, which was just placed, and I assume out that they definitely do now. The arrow actually hits Warbeast.
Ouch.
As he's taking Conqueror. Yeah, he's losing a bit of life right here because of that.
Are the Legion team going to commit? Nah, they don't feel confident enough with Fade missing. He's up at the top lane, but he's rotating over now.
Conqueror's not dying the quickest. Andromeda gets the counter word off before getting jumped, actually. So doesn't have to sacrifice himself there necessarily, and it's going to be enough to scare them away from Conqueror in the end. So good scare there by Mint. They can feel comfortable going back to just some usual farming now if they choose to. They're acting like they're still in the Conqueror pit though, so I guess the Sport side over here makes sense. I can't necessarily see in the pit, and Fade is also making sure of that. Oh, 5-second arrow there in the Lodestone. Okay, wow, swapped on a Swift play. They're going to go. Malphas does come out in response, of course, and Andromeda's going to fall quickly because of that. Valkyrie had him to leap away. She does have the Purge, going to Purge Malphas right there. Finally kill that. Fate goes down, though. Glacial Downpour, it's doing a lot of damage in the background. As Wild Soul now caught with that Shatterstorm going off. He takes a lot of damage from it. He kills Lodestone, but he goes down to the end. A hat trick for Imbo Boy. There's another Purge, and in comes Minus again. Gets the kill and gets out. Beautiful escape from Different Guy. A very smart play by him on top of that to know his limitations there.
It actually turned out in Mint's favor as well. I'm so surprised by that. The fact that the Different Guy were able to finish off Hellbringer there in the end made a big difference. And now they're not going to be able to get a Congo kill out of it either. So big fight by Mint, even though that swap, or that original swap, was a little bit too greedy, I feel.
Yeah.
Swift Blade had plenty of time to follow it up with a spin and prevent any follow-up damage.
Yeah, they don't have, I guess, other than maybe Burning Shadows from Fade, but even that isn't an instant stun by any means. There's a slight travel time on that, so the swap, like the idea of a swap into an immediate stun could have been something, but yeah, as you mentioned, he had plenty of time to spin it as we saw, but still, the fact that Mint did as well as he did in that fight is got to feel pretty good, and so Wild Soul dying, but now he has a Blessed Orb here. Going to be able to split up the Frostburn eventually and probably build the I don't know. I mean, it's obviously either the Frostal Skull or the Geometer's Bane. Both could be beneficial this game. I would probably think Frostal Skull, actually, but
Agreed. I think that's more likely, at least, to happen here. Glacius is going to find a word of sight from the Legion's side down here at the Congar Pit. So what I don't know is that they have another one here over here at the cliff. So Bunny Lover being a little bit sneaky with his wards. Still got plenty of vision on what's going on here near the Congar. The question is, like, they have been very effective, or they've been using, yeah, I was just about to say, are they going to use Valk Ultimate offensively this time?
Oh.
But that was a little bit too obvious.
Fade is just charging in YOLO. He does go down. He got a stun off right before. Midas also caught, though, in the background. They do kill Swiftblade, however. Can Midas escape? He's actually escaping some way, somehow. Andromeda, despite all that armor, is not going to survive. And now Malphus, it's ready. It comes out. Wild Soul again locked down. Can he get the kill on Warby? At least no, he cannot. Valkyrie can, but at what cost here? The Doc comes out. Midas again comes back into the last second to clean up for a kill. Can he also escape yet again? Even turn, actually, on Helmer, and there's a little too much life there. Midas definitely has to escape in full. It's not going to happen, though. Hat trick for Matthias. And it is a genocide. Valkyrie also did get picked off over here, trying to run away. These fights back to back. Pretty crazy here at the Congar Pit area.
Those initiations from Mint sides, I think they need to coordinate them a little bit better. Like this time, Fade going way too deep as well, making it a little bit too obvious, opening up with a stun without no follow-up, really. It's a good attempt. Like, I feel like they should use the Valkyrie Prism to try to catch the Hellborn team off guard. They just need to be a little bit more coordinated to follow up with the arrow. Or a swap, something like that, on their initial targets. And they will do much better in those teamfights.
Oh, man.
I mean, right now they're literally running as a unit as well when they're entering those teamfights, which sets up for a beautiful Malphas every single time.
Yeah.
Even though it might not necessarily be the biggest deal because the radius is incredibly large, so it's hard to dodge, but still, like, you can still try to spread out just a little bit to make it more difficult for Lodestone as well to land a good Shadow Storm, as well as giving Tankafad a little bit more distance to run between targets.
Whew. Definitely turning out to be, again, a very, very back and forth game. And although ECX had a great lead early on, obviously the adjustments were made by Mint eventually. They found the opening in the room for Wild Soul especially. I'm going to climb back into this and really, again, make it even if anything. He has 508 gold per minute. He's continuing to farm down here at the bottom lane. Again, Valkyrie, too, he's got that Nullfire Blade. Go with the Energizer and Steam. He's only about 300 GPM, so not like he's been able to skyrocket necessarily. But the core item that they were definitely looking for to have on him, no doubt. And that Nullfire has been picked up. Sheepstick on Midas, obviously going to be a huge follow-up pickup for him. Fade also being a level 11, always important point to bring up whenever we see a Fade. Again, that's a really high impact level for him especially that allows the uptime of the ultimate that much longer, that much more effective. And it looks like he's getting a portal key here too to help set up some stuns. So that's good. That'll be good for Mint to have. Coming out here as, how about Swiftblade? He's... Oh, okay, he buys a broadsword there, so I think a Genjiro. Or not a Genjiro, well, eventually a Genjiro, an assassin shot first, though. Gonna be happening here, probably.
Alright, so yeah, choosing a very different route from not necessarily aiming towards that hard carry role as we normally see Imboboy play. I mean, I would have been surprised if this was Zane or their last player, Embrae or Omi or anyone playing the Swiftblade, but seeing as it's Imboboy, I'm just a little bit surprised by those offensive items.
Oh! Arrow just missing in the background of the Glacius. And meanwhile, yeah, that almost looked like they were trying to jump the Legion team, but doesn't come through. And Congar, well, he's back to full life, so gonna have to start from the
it's going to be difficult. I mean, is the Hellborn team... I mean, Hellborn team should be confident enough to take a team fight at this point, I feel, because of that Shrunken Head just finishing up on Tankafat, so they got a 10-second duration time, and they got Hellbringer, Malphas to cool down off or up and ready to go. But I still don't think it would hurt them necessarily to just finish up the Resto Stone. I don't feel like they need to force Congar by any means.
Yeah.
They're really making a... Oh, Hellbringer.
Fade feels confident. They really want to kill Hellbringer before Malphus, and they do get the kill. Down goes Fade. The Swift Slashes were used by Swiftblade, but now he's dealing with Wild Soul and Midas. Can he actually make this work? Warby's now coming to the flank. By the way, Valkyrie and Entrada getting picked up in the background, and that's why Swiftblade was confident manning up. Down goes Midas. All of a sudden, a hat trick for Zane. Wild Soul still trying to make the escape. He may not get out of this as Malphus does come down. And that support, including the carries, are coming in. A lot of damage to follow. Wild Soul is going to take out Hellbringer. He will, but he goes down shortly after. So at least he took somebody with him, I guess. But a genocide once again for Evil Corporation. And now I'm pretty sure Kongor is actually going to fall here.
Yep, his time has come. Yeah, like once again, it's Mint making the initiations in these fights, but they still come off short every single time. They're just going on different targets. They were able to finish off, who was it, Hellbringer on the side?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're trying to make something happen over at the left side as well, and that completely backfired. So unfortunately, just not on top with those stuns of theirs. But apart from that, yeah.
I also love all these wards, these blips on the mini-map of the wards of revs, like all around the Kongor pit from either side. Again, the last 5 minutes or so has really been focused around this Kongor pit here. And eventually, again, ECX, they make it happen and it works. So they do gain a bit of a gap now as far as Elite goes. And how about this? Triple stack Ancients, double damage rune just also bottled up by Swiftblade, as he does get the Assassin Shot finish. So they can make a pretty big play coming up here in the next minute or so, as far as a possible push even. Yeah, he didn't go Abyssal Skull, which we do see a lot of those carry Swift Blades, and that's kind of hurting him there. He's not able to finish off the Ancients because of that. Just to pop
Yeah, it's understandable because of the War Beast. In some cases, you still see the Swiftblade pick it up.
True.
But I guess he wanted to go for a little bit more of a offensive gank build, as he kind of was indicating with that offensive gank in the enemy forest when he hit level 7 as well, which backfired big time. But that was the idea at least, or fought behind, I think, with this build up of his. Now, yeah, go ahead.
Where's the Elder Parasite then?
Oh, true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have seen that in the past. Swift play with Elder Parasite into Polki, and just go all out every single time.
Not gonna
be quite effective.
Yep. But yeah, not Immoboy style, you could also say. He's has that background of carry, but obviously again, it goes back to the lineup too. They are relying a lot on Tankafed here also to be a lot of a carry presence, and he most certainly is able to be. That shrunk in the souls. The Abyssal himself. Firebrand now finished on Valkyrie, by the way. So he has a little bit more damage follow-up.
They're gonna find Andromeda. I don't think that they're going to commit, are they? Bunny Lover is like, am I gonna swap Probask? Nah.
You're dead. Yeah, that would be a bad move.
That would be hilarious.
I want to get away. That would not be good.
If it would have been Team M, he would have swapped.
Probably, yeah. Very good likelihood of that. So, gets picked off, though. 3,000 gold saved up on Wild Soul with that said. And, you know, I'm also going to have Geometer's Bane potential. This isn't
they might be able to get his kill at the top, actually.
Are they going... Oh, and a Lodestone?
I think they should be able to. Just blink in and stun. Or do that.
That works well.
too. No, he's stuck in the trees!
He has to blink in. The arrow hits, but now they're running away as the TPs come in. They don't want to secure the kill. They want to get the hell out of there. Malphus used to catch Midas, but the Valkyrie Prism will keep him away. So, like, oh, nice dust, by the way. Klish is randomly dusting, and he happened to hit Valkyrie. It didn't matter, though. As he
it was a really good attempt from the Legion team. Good attempt by Fade as well, trying to land that stun from Fog, but unfortunately backfiring a little bit, seeing as he wasn't in range for the out attacks.
Yeah.
Maida's still up here, by the way. Still going to push the lane just a little bit. He's got a sheep stick now available.
Oh, yeah. That's huge. There we go. Yeah, he's going to be able to pick it up here. As... What is he buying? How's he having trouble?
He bought a Steam stuff.
Accolade stuff? Wait, what?
He bought a Steam stuff as well, but
yeah, he sold it right away, though, yeah. Does he not have enough? Oh, yeah, that's right, the change.
1325.
Still,
actually.
Yeah, this perpetual cogwheel.
That's a hell of a name.
Yeah.
Defensive tower, tier 2 falling in favor of Evil Corporation.
Oh.
There are only 2 people, though. They are playing greedy. I mean, Hellbringer is freaking at the bot lane. I think the Legion team should capitalize on this.
Fade's going to open. He's going to go into Warbeast right here. There's the opening. Swiftblade is nearby, but TP's coming in. There's that Sheepstick Lowstone. This could be big. Oh, man. He had a couple seconds, too. I thought he was going to make a play, but, yeah, they weren't really all there. You mentioned Hellbringer not being there especially. What's the biggest deal? And actually, nice Story Spear by Lowstone. He pops the chest and says, bring it on, bitches. Here we go. Looking for a turn. Gets swapped in, actually. That almost, I think that hit Fade, actually. So the swap almost hurting in a sense. Fade goes down. Midas goes down. Fade, or Andromeda did as well. Wassel's trying to live with that ulti form, though. The lifesteal, it's not enough. Again, he goes down. Valkyrie, she's out of there pretty early on in that fight, actually. So the turn does successfully happen.
Yeah, what a freaking boss Zane was there with the Storm Spirit. That reaction time right there and the instant buyback from Tankifa just set up the entire team fight. Really beautiful for Evil Corporation. Like, Mint wasn't even aware of what was going on before they were all wiped out.
Yeah. ECX, now they've won several fights in a row. Things have obviously come together very well. Wild Soul's impact has not necessarily... It feels like by the time he's able to start getting some damage off, like he's almost by himself. I feel ECX is doing a great job at picking off the supporting cast, if anything, and making that a high priority. So Malphus, okay, wow, just using Malphus just to kill the Rex. That's an interesting choice.
I mean, yeah.
Well,
all right, it's going to get killed.
Yeah, a little greedy there, I think, but oh well, not the end of the world. Yeah, he has Resto Stone coming though, so maybe he figured that too. He's like, worst case, I have a Resto Stone, so if I need it,
are you going to bait Billion Team into committing?
Yeah.
I don't have the Resto, or I don't have the Malphus. Let's go.
That could be it, actually. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. And there's the Resto purchase. Now, unless he like drops it in the stash, I mean, it was very obvious he was making it, so I don't think this is going to be like a huge surprise.
Nope. But as you can see right there, I mean, if Fade would have actually had backup right there on that stun, if they would have had one more player a little bit closer, that could have been a team fight taking place right there.
Yeah.
And in that case, it would have been a good bait. I don't think that was the plan behind using Malphus in the middle. I think that was simply an attempt to push the lane or push the racks a little bit.
Oh man, we're gonna see a fight here, Warbeast. There's a shrunken Malphus, but the Storm Spirit, not really the best Malphus, honestly. Andromeda swaps in. She is, of course, going to die. Glacial Downpour. Nier's doing so much damage on top of everything else. And Wild Soul, again, is going to fall really before the Shadow Storm even goes off. Valkyrie caught as well. I think Mint's going to have to throw in the towel here.
Nier had the most hero damage there for just a split second of his entire team if you go to hero damage instead. Swiftblade just passed him there in the end.
Yeah.
Damn, that's really impressive. Nier definitely MVP here.
Big glacial
playing out of his mind on this Glacius. Carrying from the support role is not too often do you see that kind of scenario, but well played.
All right, Evil Corporation, they take game number 1 here in this series. So, again, they had the lead. It was close, though, by a lot. Mint seemed like they were starting to get something going with momentum, especially that Wild Soul, but yeah, never really.
I didn't feel like the Wild Soul necessarily fit their lineup too much. I think that you were on a good point there as well earlier. That just, I mean, when Wild Soul arrives, when he's actually starting to bash out the damage, like supporting cast is already dead. I mean, and that's, I mean, obviously a great from Evil Corporation sides, but at the same